Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Minesweeper PvP adventures. You can imagine my shock when I went to queue up for a second round of games, and I saw that some points were missing. It was only 8 points, so it was more like mild confusion than shock, but there were definitely still some points missing that I didn't know where they went. I actually found out afterwards that Minesweeper.online changed their point system, and then retroactively took those points from me, because if I played those same games now, I wouldn't have ended up with the same points that I did. However, I still feel like I earned those points, so to be dramatic, I'm going to say that I'm mad at them for stealing them from me and call this a vengeance session. So starting at 212 points in silver instead of 220, let's reclaim those points they took from me and hopefully many more. Alright, so we are starting off with a banger today in our first game against KMSM. I would like to provide some context for this game. I know at the start of the video I said I queued up for a second round of games. That wasn't completely true because this game was on its own. I just needed to collect one screenshot at the start of this game for the end of my YouTube editing, and I was just hoping the game would go smoothly because I had to play it just to get the screenshot. But I was really out of practice. I was sick for a little while and I was editing my video, so I wasn't really playing the game much. And also, I didn't warm up at all before playing this game, which I normally do. Which sounds like a lot of excuses for some fairly normal gameplay, you might think. And even that mine, that's pretty understandable. But the second mine was not understandable. I do not know why I did that. And I think it might even continue to get worse. There you go, my mouse slips. And then I don't know what went through my head for that one. And then neither do I for that one. But that makes it 5 mines in one corner. I'm in the red. And yes, I was also very tired that day, to add to the list of excuses, and it was definitely catching up to me in this game. But I got out of the top corner, and I was hoping from here on it'd be easy, I could close it out. And funnily enough, it does solve here. I don't see it, but it does. And I actually end up clicking the one mine that I needed to see to solve it. And now I'm in hit another mine, I slip again, and I'm in the red with about 80%. And I can tell that it's been going between green and red, and I didn't get the chance to check my opponent before this game because I was distracted. But I could tell that because I hadn't lost yet, I should be winning. I was a bit worried I would lose in embarrassing fashion. But just with a few clicks left on my opponent, I managed to clutch out, if I can say those words. But hopefully that is my worst performance you will see on this series. And this is where the real vengeance session starts, from here on out. Even though I'm still hitting mines, that one was a bit more reasonable. But I guess it goes to show you guys that I am willing to show it all, the good and the bad. Every game I play will be on this series, even when it's a complete disaster like that one. And almost disproves my theory from my last video of how I have no loss condition against people with those times compared to me. Because if I was against Simone, who has a 20-second faster PB, I would have lost that game. Which would have been a bonus amount of embarrassing considering how I was saying that wasn't possible in my last video. Um, but I think on the regular day, it goes a bit more like this. That was under half the speed it took for my last game, so a bit more normal. And into my next one against Min Min, hopefully I will be able to keep that kind of standard up where I'm getting some more comfortable wins without stressing myself out. And another thing to note about my break that I mentioned, as I said, I didn't really play for 2.5 weeks, not properly, and not any PvP. This has kind of given the PvP ladder some time to settle, I think. And I know the PVs of my opponents look fairly similar to the others from the last video at the moment. In my last video, I did also come across some outliers of people who are pretty speedy. I think the chance of that is a bit lower in this video, since they probably climbed some ranks by now. Despite me moving up in ranks, they might be a bit more consistently at that speed. But here we go, another 48. but the efficiency is better, which is always a good sign for me that I'm playing a bit better. Against Penti, another roughly around 100-second expert, is the times we're seeing at this ranking. I don't really know how they're distributed and kind of what ranks I expect to see certain speeds. I'm not sure yet, but that will be something we discover. And I suppose one bonus of maybe not running into quicker people early now is I get to keep my perfect win rate alive and brag about that number, even if it means less exciting YouTube videos. As long as you have a number to brag about, that is the most important thing in life. Take notes. But yeah, I think in these games, they're fairly steady. I don't think I'm playing my best, but I'm also not really forced to. As long as I keep a certain amount of steadiness in these games, it's not really a risk. It's a bit of a difficult no flag section to end that game there, which I could have lost on. I'll pat myself on the back for not doing it. That's the bare minimum, I think. Pat myself on the back for not hanging mine. Um, but against Verite here, similar expert PB around 100, which I mean I feel a little. I think this is what I tried referencing in my last video. I don't necessarily feel bad. That sounds condescending, but it it does feel a little unfair that I have to play against those people. Like obviously I'm a tryhard and they're probably much newer to this game than I am in terms of hours put in. And I've got to start at the bottom of the ladder and do all this climbing through them. When the way Minesweeper works, I think it's not super likely that the underdog wins when there's this much difference. So it's a bit of a given what the result might be at the moment. That's another thing that I haven't been able to show you this because I haven't had a loss yet. But hang on a second. It's a bit of a difficult corner. So I do end up hitting the mine on. Ironically, as soon as I had logic to clear it, I actually hit the mine, which is something easy to do. Another win under my belt though. Yeah, when you have a lot of guesses in a row, it's quite easy to cloud your mind and not see a complicated solution that shows up. And now I've completely lost my train of thought about what I was talking about. Well, that's a shame. And this game's a bit difficult. There's no real obvious solution. I'm kind of stuck. Take a 50-50, I lose it. And I'm a bit perplexed here. I don't know what my thoughts were there. I think there was kind of a lack of thought. It did work, like I didn't lose on those guesses, but I think if you were to analyze them, they weren't that great. I got another forced guess here, which is I think made a bit more sense this time, and I got a bit lucky to get through that the way I did. But that does raise another point. I'm really sorry for forgetting what I started talking about. Hopefully it doesn't bug people. But this other point is sometimes when I rewatch games, my instinct is to like pause the video and really figure out what happened and what I did, and if what I did was correct. But I think for the sake of these videos, I've not really done that. I don't want to ruin the flow. Get another comfortable win. Um, Efficiency was fine. I don't think I played that game too well though, guess-wise. And yeah, I could stop the game and analyze and tell you my thought process about the guesses in hindsight. That one was not a guess, that was just me missing a quite obvious deduction pattern. Can happen sometimes, your brain can trick yourself. But yeah, I don't want to ruin the flow of a PvP game and pause it and talk about it. That's kind of been my thoughts so far. But if people would like to see that kind of thing, then yeah, just let me know and I could be happy to try and include it, see how it goes. I think for that guess there, I knew that might happen. I think the first mine I hit, I knew might happen, and the second mine made a bit less sense. I realize now that in the moment when I'm guessing, sometimes I kind of just take the one in front of me rather than picking one that made any sense. I do have I do have rules that I have in my head if I try and think about it, but when you're in the moment, it's hard to stick to them and still feel like you're in quick. Got the win though. I mean, Tolls is actually on 70%, which It's actually pretty impressive given our PB difference, so props to them. And this will be our promotion to gold actually, against Too Lazy to Make a Name. See if we can pull it off. And this is something I didn't realize at the time, but it doesn't look like they've started playing it. So I'm not deliberately being unsportsmanlike by just going on anyway. But I also, I don't know if there would ever be some shenanigans with the servers where it just doesn't show them starting. But anyway, I was, I guess, making it easy for myself in my promotion game and going ahead anyway. And yeah, just no drastic errors really today. I think my guessing could have been improved up to this point, and I wasn't at my fastest, but I was doing enough to get the job done. I was playing to a standard I can't complain about. That's a bit of an awkward section. See, that would be a fun one to analyze in my head. I'm thinking that, but it would probably extend the time of this game more than it should. And just clean it up right at the end in a slightly unfair game to promote me to gold. 310 points. Successfully vengeance those inning. But that will be the end of this video. I will continue my adventures in gold and beyond in future ones.